So good morning once again, everyone. You are welcome in today's SST video session. Today we will continue with history chapter number 2, the establishment of company rule. Yesterday we come to know about that British East India Company or the English East India Company was a private company which was given the right to trade in East by the Queen Elizabeth I. Okay. During that time, India was famous for its various products which were valuable and have high demand in European countries as well as in Arabian countries, especially the spices. So everyone wants to com- uh, do trade with our country. So in this way, there were several European countries which formed their own East India companies. They were called East India because India lies in the east of Europe. So that's why now the competition started among various European countries to establish more and more trading links with India or to trade more with India. So they used to fight with one another. At that time, Mughal rule was in their declining stage in India. Okay, so somehow some Britishers were able to get the trading rights in India. Some also established slowly and slowly they established their trading center at Surat. Then in Bengal, they also fought for the trading rights. You also learned that Nawab Sirajuddaulah declined to give any trading rights to the company, especially to the private officials or the officers who were doing private trade in India because they were not paying the taxes to the Indian government, that is to the Nawab. So Nawab attacked Calcutta where they have made their trading center. Okay, they have established their trading center at Calcutta. Who? The Britishers. Okay, so there was a fight between Sirajuddaulah and English men. Sirajuddaulah defeated them, but after some time, Robert Clive, the company official, he was a commander of British company at that time. Then he launched a conspiracy. Okay, he planned a conspiracy. He get Mir Jafar, the commander in chief of Sirajuddaulah, in his side. Okay, through bribe. Then during the Battle of Plassey, this Mir Jafar, who was commander in chief of the army of Sirajuddaulah, he took away his contingent of army and the army did not fight bravely at that time. Sirajuddaulah got defeated on the hands of Britishers and he was put to death by the British. Mir Jafar became the king. Okay, so Mir Jafar was only the puppet king. So in this way, company started ruling indirectly in India from Bengal. Now they started trading in various commodities, in various things. Okay, now they were free to do trade without paying any charges or the taxes to the Indian government because they were own running the Indian government. Okay, because they have put Mir Zafar on the throne. So now, after some time, Mir Jafar found it difficult to meet the financial demands of the company and was replaced by Mir Qasim in 1760. Now, this puppet king, Mir Zafar, was not able to pay the company the amount they wanted. Okay, so slowly and slowly he started showing his unrest, uncomfortability with the British. British removed him from the throne, and put another person called Mir Qasim on the throne of Bengal. Now, this Mir Qasim was unable to stop the misuse of free trade by the company officials, so he abolished internal duties altogether, so that Indian merchants could also enjoy the same privilege. So now British were adopting, enjoying a privilege to not to pay any taxes to the Indian government. But now, when Mir Qasim came to the throne, he abolished the trade duties. Trade duties mean taxes for all, including Indian. Now, Indians could also enjoy the trade benefits. The English did not approve of this display of independence and retaliated by replacing him with Mir Zafar again. So Britishers did not like it and they again replaced Mir Qasim with Mir Jafar. So Mir Jafar second time came on the throne. Mir Qasim fled from Bengal and formed a grand alliance with the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and Shujauddaulah of Awadh. However, their combined army was routed by the British army at the Battle of Buxar in 1764. After the defeat, the English treated the Mughal emperor with some respect. Now, what happened? Mir Qasim left Bengal when he was replaced by Mir Zafar. He formed an alliance with another Mughal emperors, for example, Shujauddaulah of Awadh and Alam Shah Alam II. Their combined forces fought with the British, though British defeated them in the Battle of Buxar in 1764, but this battle showed the British that Indians also have some courage to fight. So they started treating Indians with some respect. However, Shah Alam too was forced to sign the Treaty of Allahabad. So there was a treaty, okay, signed between British and Britishers and the Shah Alam too. In Allahabad, it is known as Treaty of Allahabad. The treaty granted the treaty होता है एक तरह का एक agreement समझौता. So the treaty granted the British Diwani or the revenue collection rights. Okay, what is Diwani? Diwani means revenue collection rights. The treaty granted British Diwani or the revenue collection rights of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. सो ब्रिटिश को क्या मिल गया इस लड़ाई के बाद? इस एक ट्रीटी हुई इलाहाबाद में. उस ट्रीटी के तहत जो ब्रिटिश था उनको टैक्स कलेक्ट करने के राइट्स मिल गए. किन स्टेट्स में? बंगाल, बिहार एंड उड़ीसा. शुजाउद्दौला वाज मेड टू पे ₹50 lakhs एज वार इंडेमनिटी. और लड़ाई में जो खर्चा हुआ ब्रिटिश का उसकी भरपाई के लिए शुजाउद्दौला को 50 लाख रुपए का जुर्माना भरना पड़ा. इसको वार इंडेमनिटी बोलते हैं. ओके. A British resident was posted at the court of Murshidabad, who eventually controlled the administration of the entire province. Now, अब मुर्शिदाबाद में ब्रिटिश ने एक अपना ऑफिसर अपॉइंट कर दिया जिसको बोला जाता था ब्रिटिश रेजिडेंट. सो ये ब्रिटिश रेजिडेंट एक्चुअली बहुत पावरफुल पोस्ट थी. इन द एक्चुअल सेंस, रियल सेंस, वो ही पूरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को कंट्रोल करता था. Thus, the company initiated the policy of indirect governance. So, this is called the policy of indirect governance. इसको indirectly rule करना बोलते हैं because there was a king of local king, Indian king, but the British were ruling through their resident, British resident, that means official. So this type of governance is called a indirect governance. The Battle of Buxar was a decisive battle in the history of India as it exposed the weaknesses of the Indian army to the Europeans. The British got complete financial control of one of the richest states of India, and this permanently sorted out the British financial problems. Now, the English also came to learn about the weaknesses of the Indian army and the Indian political system and Indian kings. Now they also have control over the most strongest state of India, that is Bengal. So this helped them to manage all their financial problems in India. So here you can see a picture of Robert Clive. So Robert Clive's view of the dual system after the Battle of Buxar. I shall only say that such a scene of anarchy, confusion, bribery, corruption, and extortion was never seen or heard of in any other country but Bengal. Not such and so many fortunes acquired in so unjust and rapacious manner. So रॉबर्ट क्लाइव खुद लिखता है कि बंगाल के अंदर जो बहुत सारी करप्शन थी, प्राइवेट ट्रेड के चलते बहुत कुछ जो हो रहा था, ऐसा और किसी भी देश में नहीं देखा उसने. ठीक है. So actually Robert Clive was the real hero of the British army. Okay.